So the 2025 anime season has been off to a very hot start. There's a lot of series out there that of course a lot of people are reacting to, and I'm decided to do something a little bit different. You know, not reacting to every series, but I am going to be watching a lot of different series. In this particular one, Apocalypse Bringer Minogra is one of those series that I wanted to talk about for this video, because listen, a lot of people don't like slop, right? Especially when it comes to like anime or isekai based series, right? So I figured that, you know what, we found ourselves a new isekai series. It might be isekai slop, but I wanted to check it out to see exactly if it's gonna be worth watching, let alone worth talking about, right? And Apocalypse Bringer, like this series, I was surprised, you know. I was surprised, especially because I'm getting a lot of Overlord vibes from the series. Now I gotta bring attention to the opening theme, because the opening theme to me, this opening thing was a banger, bro. That's one of the very first things I need to talk about. Now I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some crazy ass looking girls. Our main girl right here, Otto, I believe her name is. She's essentially like the Abeto of this world in a way, because this world right now is functioning a little bit differently, especially for what we got with episode 1. Otto essentially is like sentient, or she actually knows what's been going on. Like this man, our main character, has been playing this game over non-stop, and she's been with him every time he resets the game, every time, you know, he ends the game. So she's conscious of all their journeys, and she's actually happy that our newfound king is in this world and she gets to spend time with him. But be that as it may, and how banger of this like this part here, bro, I gotta talk about it again, like, because this opening theme actually got me. I actually think both the opening and ending theme for this anime is actually really good. Episode 1 is new game, so let's just go through a couple other things, right? Sludge Otto is her full name, which is kind of like weird and whatnot. But you know, of course, because this is a whole game, and you know, she's one of the hero units. Essentially, the main characters in the series are evil. They're the bad guys, similar to like Overlord. You know, Ainz is like the villain protagonist in the series. A lot of people don't realize that until it's like too late to realize that, oh wait, our person here isn't a good guy, right? So obviously, our main character is the King of Ruin, the one of legend that pretty much can just like set the world ablaze, like, and erase everybody. And that's essentially what the role of our main character in the series is going to be, and you know, I mentioned Overlord beforehand because I really do see a lot of parallels between those two series itself. Between the main character, like Ainz being all powerful and all seeing and everything like that. Well, not all seeing, because he kind of is ignorant at a lot of times, and then it makes up because his servants aren't, you know, they think he's much smarter than he actually is, and that brings like the comedy about it in Overlord. In this series, I do like the dynamic between Otto and our main character, because she essentially is, for all intents and purposes, she's a simp, right? She'll do anything for this man, especially because this man's been playing with her for, I mean, I don't know how many years and whatnot that they've been playing this game, but you know, she really is all there for him. But I also like the fact that, you know, even though she has a role to fulfill, she isn't afraid to call things cringe, you know. Like this itself, right? This setup here, you know, look, she wants to play this game with him. She wants to explore this world with him. They don't even know if this world is actually the world of the game, his world, or something completely new, which I do like, them trying to figure out these things together. But you know, I do like the fact that they call these things out as cringe, like when things are just like, yo, like that's kind of like super cliche and whatnot, and that might be like the slapstick comedy that we're gonna get for the series, you know, especially because our main character starts off being hungry as hell. You know, I was not expecting a couple other things when it comes to this series, more so that the prospect of dark elves, or how people actually perceive our main character, who is becoming the King of Ruin, right? Or the Ruin King, whichever verbiage they want to, you know, pretty much utilize. They understand that this world is a fantasy world, which of course, once again, we're establishing like a type of isekai thing. Overworld isn't technically an isekai, but you know, that's neither here nor there for today's subject matter when it comes to this particular series. But the other cool thing is essentially all these characters start off weak, right? That's what their stats are saying. But even though their stats are saying that they're weak, and you have these elves, these dark elves, who just thought that this forest was one weird and that there wasn't anybody that could actually live in this forest. You know, that's what we all think until now they meet eye to eye. And this is where shock and panic begin, because what we're seeing here as the viewers is not exactly what the dark elves are seeing. Like, they might see our main character in like his pajamas and whatnot, but to them that's not what they're seeing. And that also makes me think, what is Otto seeing when she looks at our main character here, right? And I like how they go through this entire you know, sequence of, you know, what the dark elves had to go through, how they've been ostracized and they've been, you know, basically they're being pursued and attacked, and they end up meeting the King of Ruin, and this is their vision right here. Now this is what it looks like when they see this man. I mean, flashbacks of Mob Psycho, when he goes crazy, when he goes nuts, when it's 100% pure rage and madness. Like, that's what my man is looking like at all points in times, right? And he already recognizes that, damn son, the slightest thing I can do, slightest misstep, the slightest disrespect that I give is going to end my bloodline. It's over, okay? So he understands that. That's cool and all. And you know, he's giving his respects and whatnot, and my man's about to give his whole backstory about why he's in this forest. And Alto's like, listen man, we ain't got time for that. Like, just tell us why you're here, and let's keep it moving, right? So he's still trying to give it, like that's what she said, keep it brief. Like, he's still trying to give out his whole government and stuff like that, and he's trying to essentially, while he's giving out this information, he's trying to strategize. But bro, there's no strategy right here. You fear for your lives. You fear that this man might just, this King of Ruin, this person of legend might just take it, and you're gonna be screwed, right? But you find out that, you know, our main character is very soft-hearted. He hears this story and he is like, you know what, here's some apples, you know, you're hungry, right? And he tells them that, you know what, you can eat these apples because they're really good, and you could cut them in the shape of bunnies, especially. And I mean, like, what, it's, the voice just sounds so ghastly, you know, for our King of Ruin here. And my man's looking at this, what the hell is this? Like, I've never seen an apple before, because that is a fruit from you know, all intents and purposes, the real world, because now we have established that this is another world, a fantasy world, right? And of course the King of Ruin continues to hear his pleas about, you know, how hungry they are. He also says that, listen man, I got a lot of children and I don't want this food to just go to us. I need to bring this food to our children who are starving, who have been ostracized. The King of Ruin's just like, yo, he's eating the story up, like, listen man, I understand, you know what, here's all the food I got. Mind you, this is costing mana, and in this world they don't got a lot of mana. Like, they just arrived here and they're very, very weak. So at any point in time, somebody could actually just kill these two, right? Essentially, that's what we've been told so far. But because he's just looks like such an imposing figure, that's probably not going to happen, right? At least from what we can tell. So King of Ruin starts giving out food. And Otto's like, oh my god, why would you spend all your mana for that? You know, you're crazy. And he's like, I apologize, Otto, I'll do anything you want me to tell you. And like I said, she's like a generational simp, so all that gets resolved. The other big thing that happened in the series was, for this first episode, was between I believe his name is Gia and the elder Moltar. They had basically a discussion about how they got this food, where this food came from, and why are you praising this evil being as the great one, essentially the person that's like their Lord and Savior. How can a Lord and Savior be so evil, right, at the same time? So that brings upon a point of contention. But you know, Gia was just like, listen, I don't know what else I was supposed to do. You know, I'm supposed to save my family, and so if it comes at the cost of holding hands with the Dark One, was I not supposed to do that? Like, were we supposed to just have everybody starve and die? And then Moltar is just like, you know what, I don't know what the right decision was gonna be, bro, but you know what, we have food, we can talk and argue because we got this food, and I am grateful for that. So I'll handle talking to the Dark One, you know, moving forward, because I'm the elder, and you know, that's what we got to do. So like I said, they had like this big argument about that, and essentially the episode ends off with, you know, our main characters just going through the motions, like my man's like here on his knees because he's spending his mana, and she's like griefing him at this point. And I mean, it's cute and all, and I was expecting this to be a lot of slop. I mean, I forgot to mention this thing who is like doing renaissance or reconnaissance, trying to figure out what's going on within the surrounding area and whatnot. So, you know, essentially that ends off this particular episode. I don't know if it's gonna be slop or not. I do know that both opening and ending themes sound amazing. Okay, like at least I like them. They're my type of jam, and it's like I like dark fantasies like this. It looks like it's going to be pretty interesting. We'll just see if this is one of those series that just passes the time, or if it's one of those series that we can like come to actually recommend and love out here. So let me know your thoughts. Are you checking out this series, which is once again called the Apocalypse Bringer Minogra, right? And World Conquest starts with the Civilization of Ruin. We gotta stop these animes with these long ass names. Why can't we just call this series Apocalypse Bringer Minogra and call it a day, folks? I don't know. Yeah, yo, like, subscribe, share. Let me know if you guys are watching the series, and I'll catch you guys for episode 2 next week. All right, doses.